I'm Chewy Mew, but my real name is Eric, and welcome to another Chewy Mew review, where today we're taking a look at another figure that was sitting in my box, or sitting in a box in the attic that I have no idea why they were there. The figure we're looking at today is Hasbro Spider-Man Origins Spider-Man 2099. So this figure, along with some other figures, was re-released by Hasbro in 2006. So long story short, Toy Biz sadly had to leave us in 2006. And then Hasbro immediately jumped on the train of making Spider-Man figures, but since they didn't have any idea what the hell they were doing, they re-released a bunch of Toy Biz molds and repainted them. This was originally a Spider-Man figure. They re-released it and they painted it. And so we're going to take a look at this guy today. So as you guys may saw in a past video, I reviewed the Marvel Legends Hobgoblin Build-A-Figure Wave Spider-Man 2099, and I thought that figure was awesome. However, I sold it on eBay. I don't know why I just sold it on eBay. I'm selling most of my Hasbro Marvel Legends figures that I don't have too much attachment to, which I sold some of them because I just don't really have much connection to them. But this guy, as a kid, I loved this one as a kid, and I still think it's pretty awesome. That's part of the reason I sold the other one, because I think this one's better. Like, I know might get a lot of hate in the comments for selling that figure in exchange for one with much less posability, but honestly, to me, a figure with not much posability, if I had fun with it as a kid, or if I just liked the design or something like that, I think it's awesome. I think it's pretty awesome. But also, you may notice this figure, if you know what the figure originally looks like, I'll put a picture on screen right here if I remember. But this figure didn't come with this cape. He's got this little bracket looking thing here. So what I did was I took a piece of this like this thick fabric, I cut it in half. Then I smeared some Sharpie on it to give it texture. Smeared some Sharpie. I used some of that crafting wire I showed in a previous review, which is not on my desk anymore. But I used some of that crafting wire, made little holes, and wired it to his arms. On the front, you can't really see them too much, but on the back, they're pretty prevalent. And there pretty much wasn't any content other than comic books with Miguel O'Hara or 2099 Spider-Man. And so as a kid, I just thought it was another one of Spider-Man's just wacky costumes. So as a kid, I played with this as if it was just regular Peter Parker Spider-Man. And then eventually, I don't remember how I figured out. I think it was like a comic book or some video, something I watched on TV. Like it was like talking about alternate universe of Spider-Man, which at the time this was just this wasn't an alternate universe. At the time when he originally came out in the comic books, it was just the same 616 universe that Peter Parker was in. This is Spider-Man in the future after all of the events of the original comic book passed away. And so, as a kid, I didn't know that, so I just played with this as if it was just Peter Parker in a costume. There's no 3D sculpting to anything, but I still think the face is designed pretty nice. That is the one thing I'll give Hasbro, because all of these Spider-Man Origins figures was Hasbro just re-releasing Toy Biz molds, just repainting them here and there. And this one was a Spider-Man figure with not much posability either, and they repainted it, and honestly, if you didn't know this was a repaint, you would think that's pretty good looking. And the color in the lighting here looks kind of blackish with blue highlights, but when you look at it closer, which the camera doesn't really do it justice, the suit looks blue. It looks kind of blue in real life with some black as well. And I think it looks really cool. It looks kind of like dark, as you would expect it to. But look at the chest design here. The chest design looks pretty nice. It's got that spider. So this is based off a Day of the Dead costume. And I also think Miguel O'Hara, he's Hispanic. I'm not too sure what country he's from, but I know he's Hispanic. You can see some more texture design here. Or not texture, it's just repainted. Because the original Spider-Man didn't have like any 3D webs or anything like that, so they just repainted it. He's got like these big legs, and even though he doesn't have much posability, he has up like this space and above the arms. Actually, no, he doesn't have much posability. The legs only have like single joints and stuff. The torso doesn't have any articulation. The head has very minimal. Pretty much only his arms are super articulated. The rest is kind of like meh articulated. So this one, I think it's pretty good. I had a lot of fun with this as a kid. So as you might know in some reviews, even the figures that have blah articulation, I still think they're awesome just because I had so much fun as a kid. Because to me, even this with low articulation, to me, it's still an awesome figure, because to me, it's just, if a figure has super awesome articulation, but I don't really care about it, then to me, it's meh. But this guy, not much articulation, but I still had a lot of fun with this. The only thing with the cape I put on is when you lift his arms, it does put some strain on the cape, and I feel like it could rip, because this is like papery, fabricy material. I also don't know why there's that little dot right there. I think it's like some paint bled through or something, I don't know. So the head doesn't really go up much, but it goes down pretty good. He's got a mid-torso waist swivel. Nothing up here in the torso. The arms would go all the way around, but they can't because the cape. They would go all the way up, but they can't because of the cape. Double bend in the elbow. Rotation here in kind of close to the wrist. A hinge in the wrist. And this hand can do web shooting hands, which, fun fact, you probably know. Miguel O'Hara, Spider-Man, has organic webbing. And then his hand kind of closes here in a knuckle form, but the fingers are like that, so when you close it, the fist doesn't close completely. His fingers are still kind of like that. It looks really weird looking. The legs kick up pretty good. You can get them to sit down. Not too many of the Spider-Man figures you can get to sit down. Single bend in the knee, but about 90 degrees still. The foot hinges forward and back, and the knees not being the same. This knee bends. You can move it higher up, and it can kick more in the air compared to this one that just kind of puts his foot up on like a ledge or something. Whereas this guy's like kneeing some guy in the face. The leg, ankle bends back pretty good, and it leans forward pretty good. Let me know what you think about this figure. Let me know what you think about this figure. If you like this video, leave a like. Subscribe if you want to see more. And, even, I don't want to sound like I'm one of those YouTubers, but, share this video if you've got some friends that you think would like to see these reviews of these figures. But that's going to be all for this video. I will see you in the next one.